here now. Where's Dr. Culper? Where is he?
So you gonna kick us off? You want to do?
No, you can.
Okay.
Or,
All right.
actually, it's Keith. I figure Keith would.
No, kick it up.
Oh, you're the moderator, so okay, you're good.
It's good to see everybody coming back after lunch. Did everybody enjoy the ribs? Chopped barbecue, potato salad. Y'all enjoy that? Or did you miss that? Did we miss that somehow? It's good to see everybody smiling after that big lunch, and glad to have you back in your seats. We're going to have this session really focus on how do we move forward. You know, we talked about some of the issues today, this morning, and but there's still lots of work to do. I think we're making progress, but we need to make much more progress. And I think I'll try to outline a few points on why we need to accelerate our progress. So we have an esteemed panel this afternoon, and I'm going to call each one of them to come up and join me. Certainly my pastor, Dr. Bodrick, and Ms. Magnolia Contreras, and you have who they are in your program. Magnolia is VP for Community Health at Dana-Farber. Reverend Minion Culpepper, who's a pastor at Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church. He's also a survivor with us. Mr. Jack Hopkins, who's CEO of Ratio Therapeutics and on the board of directors of God Fights Cancer. Dr. Mark Katz, and I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, so Dr. Katz, would you come up and join us, please, with Boston Medical Center. Dr. Lynn Moore, who's a member of the PHEN Survivor Network and is at Mass Bay Community College. Gentlemen and lady, it is great to have you with us. It is great to have you. Community forum, as I indicated earlier, we wanted to make sure that as we go into each one of the cities and where we have a community forum, that we not only educate, leave an impression, but we also leave the elements of how to move forward. And so this discussion now is about that. How do we move forward in Boston in the fight against prostate cancer? And I'm going to kind of start, the areas that I'm sure we would touch, and we're not going to touch these in any given order. We did that this morning, but we're going to hit these areas that we spent a lot of time on this morning. We're going to talk about community awareness, early detection, the knowledge that we need to have, and prostate cancer screening policies. Here we're talking about the state screening policies. So those will be some of the things that we will address about moving forward, and I'm sure there will be other topics that will come up from the audience or from my panel here. One of the things that I wanted to point out before we got started is we want to take a look at Boston compared to Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is one of our focus areas. In fact, last year, the first community forum that we held was in Jackson, Mississippi. We held it at the Civil Rights Museum there. It was a great turnout, great group of people in Jackson, Mississippi. So I thought it would be important to take a look at the comparison between Boston and Jackson. And when you look at the population for black men, you can see we look at these by counties because that's the way the data is presented from the National Cancer Institute. They have the state cancer profile. And so Hinds County, that includes Jackson, has a population of 200, you can see the numbers, nearly 215,000, and Suffolk County, where Boston is located, 770,000. The black population in Hinds County is 73.3%, and Boston and Suffolk County is 23.9%. You can see the black population there. You can see the incidence per 100,000. If you go down further, you look at the advanced men diagnosed with advanced disease. Hinds County 49.5, Suffolk County 52.7. That's a little shocking, a little surprising. And that's people diagnosed at a later stage, advanced disease. Now, late stage is Hinds County 25%, Suffolk 27.7. And if you look at the death rate per 100,000, and this is for black men, they're almost identical. So you might say that Boston is doing as good as Jackson, Mississippi, okay? Now I could put it another way. I could say Boston is doing no better than Jackson, Mississippi. And now, why would I put it that way? We always talk about Mississippi, especially Jackson, about the disparity in resources. They had trouble getting drinking water. And when you look at the top 50 ranked cancer centers by U.S. News, you can see that we have 3 here in Massachusetts. Mississippi has 0. And yet, we're doing no better than Jackson, Mississippi, when it comes to key areas here. That is the men diagnosed with advanced disease, late stage, and the death rate. I don't like those numbers. Being from Boston, in fact, I'm a little embarrassed when I look at these numbers. I think because that reflects on me. It reflects on PHEN, it reflects on all of us. If we can't do any better than Jackson, Mississippi, that means that we're not flexing our muscles with the resources we have here, and we're just not leveraging those. So that's something I wanted to bring up first, right in the beginning. We got work to do to catch up to Jackson. Can you imagine that? And another thing that's happening is when we look at prostate cancer screening, and there's a list of states that eliminated cost sharing. Cost sharing, or cost, is certainly a factor when it comes to men getting screened, the co-pays. There's a high risk, there has been introduced in Congress, both in the Senate and the House, U.S. Senate and House, legislation called the HEMS Act. That's for high risk insured men. And it was introduced bipartisan, the last session. I don't think it didn't get out of committee. And it's been introduced again this year. I know it's been introduced in the Senate by Senator Booker. But there are states, and that HEMS Act really is doing what some states are doing. 9 states have already done, and that is eliminate cost sharing. And we have a list of these states here. You can see these states listed on these slides. There are 10 of them, including the city of Washington, D.C. And what's interesting is that Massachusetts is not on this list. And we've got Rhode Island here. We even have, Virginia just enacted it. Tennessee in January. So we got some southern states that enacted it. So Massachusetts is not there either. So that's another thing that's a little embarrassing. You know, I go out and say, hey, PHEN is taking the lead. They probably look at me and say, well, you need to go home, take care of home. So let's look at something else. Death, prostate cancer incident and death rates in Suffolk County, black men and white men comparison. And you can see that the incidence is 79% higher and the death rate is 106% higher. That's 106 is over twice as high. And this is the largest racial disparity for any major cancer in Massachusetts and the country. So I guess that's all I had to show. But I wanted to show that to get us started. I wanted to make sure that we start with an understanding that we have work to do. In fact, we have much work to do, and that we need to figure out a way to leverage our resources. You know, we got these top cancer centers, and not only the top 50, but you know, we've got Tufts, and we got Boston Medical Center that's not listed in the top 50. We got other really great resources here in Massachusetts, and they don't have that in Jackson. I've been to Jackson, talked to the people in Jackson, spent time there. They don't have what we have. So, so the question before us today is, how do we move forward? How do we do better? How do we set the pace in the fight against prostate cancer here in Boston and in Massachusetts? So, so I think you all met our panelists. I brought them forward and introduced them. So we're gonna talk about that. One of the things that we've done with PHEN, recognizing back in 2008 when we brought churches together, is that we had to have partners. We had to really find ways to mobilize the community. We did it. We reached out to our churches, and they stepped forward. And so we've been doing work there. We also had the benefit of a great partnership with the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Dana-Farber had been with us as a partner for 2 decades since we started. I remember when we first started, sitting down with the president of Dana-Farber and the head of the prostate cancer operation there, and we got their total buy-in. And they have hosted meetings for us there and provided support for 2 decades. And we want to talk about each one of those, and also where we go, where else we can go. So I'm going to actually start with Brother Minion Culpepper down there on my far right, because he's one of our church partners, and I know what he does with his church, and et cetera. And so, Reverend Culpepper, can you give me some thoughts on where you think we can go from here? How do we move forward smartly and effectively?
Thank you, Tom. I'd be glad to. And we didn't set it up this way, but I think it's important that we look at that cost sharing. And I don't have any data, but if I were a betting man, I would bet that cost sharing has an impact on who's going to Mass General and who's going to Dana-Farber. And I saw Dana-Farber was number 4 in the country, and Mass General number 11 in terms of the best hospitals for cancer in the country. And so when you look at the cost sharing and you look at the states that have cost sharing, we didn't set it up this way, but I think we need to start talking to our legislatures about getting cost sharing same way they have in the other states. Some states have different ages, but we need to get that legislation passed. Now, the interesting thing about it, and the reason why I said we didn't set it up this way, is because I'm a candidate for the Ward 7 District Council here in Boston, and when I get elected to that council, we're going right to the state. And I think we got to be involved, because what happens is if we're not at the table, then we're on the table. And we really have to get more involved politically. That determines what dollars come to the black community. That determines what resources come to the black community. And so when we sit around and we don't get involved, and all we do is complain, then we're losing lives. And when you look at the statistics that Brother Farrington gave, and you look at Mississippi versus we've got the number 4 hospital and the number 11 hospital in the country, and you look at the statistics that as many are dying in Massachusetts as in Mississippi, then it means that we've got work to do. And so, look, we've got, and you think about black men in the legislature, and you look at who we have representing us in the legislature, who do you see? And it's because we haven't been active and involved. So I say it's time that we get to work in a way that's going to make a difference for our children and our grandchildren. Because for my family, I didn't realize my father had prostate cancer until my oldest brother told me, you know, Daddy had prostate cancer. I didn't understand that my grandfather had prostate cancer. And I remember when he was sick with prostate cancer, laying up in the bed down in Georgia, a little house that we're getting ready to renovate, a little country house that didn't have water, didn't have electricity, had a good fireplace though. He had, that's how I learned how to cut firewood. And one of the ladies just asked me a minute ago, this is a side note, she came over to me, she said, are you that pastor that deer hunts down in Georgia? And I said, yeah. But my point is, when I look at my family, all of my father's brothers had prostate cancer. All 3 of us, my brothers, we've all had prostate cancer. And so when you look at whether it's genetics, whatever it's attributed to, that if we do the work that we need to do in terms of seeing the doctors, like when I had prostate cancer, I went to Mass General, I went to Dana-Farber, I went to St. Elizabeth's. I got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th opinions because I wanted to know. And the interesting thing about prostate cancer for me, I had in 2014, when I had prostate cancer, that's how they detected the colon cancer I had. If I hadn't gone for the prostate cancer, I don't know if they would have ever detected the colon cancer. And that was 2015. So I know I'm blessed. And I know the Lord is telling me, I'm not through with you yet. I'm not through with you yet, but we've got to fight. We got to fight on our hands. The first thing I think we've got to do is get that legislation passed. And there's no reason why they won't. And so when I leave here today, I'm going to start talking to Senator Miranda and our State Rep Shina Tyler. They should be here. They really should be here. But we're going to take it to them. If they won't come to us, we're going to go to them. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Culpepper. Let me say this about those state bills that have passed. We had 2 of the representatives from, I think one from Ohio, one from Tennessee, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That appeared on our program in Charlotte. And they're proud when they introduce this legislation. Yeah. And you know, they'll walk it through and see it moving forward. And they're proud when it gets passed. So I know Washington, D.C., which is a city, they just made a real big deal out of passing this legislation down in D.C. And so we want to do the same thing here. And Reverend Culpepper, you're our lead man. So we're gonna rally behind. We're gonna pull this together.
I don't mind being your lead man.
All right. We're gonna pull this together and see who we can get to take this up in Massachusetts. There's no reason we shouldn't be on that list.
No, you're right. You're right. And As soon as I finish, I'm going to start texting them, too.
All right. All right. Dr. Katz.
Yes, sir.
Give me your thoughts.
Well, the numbers are the numbers. They actually surprised me.
Yeah, they shocked me.
I think it really and part of it is, talking about the highly ranked institutions here compared to other places. But one way to interpret that is that you don't need a number 4 ranked institution to make great progress. Because if you find it early and you diagnose it early and the community is educated about it and intertwined with the hospitals, prostate cancer is not that complicated to treat in the earlier stages. So we have low-hanging fruit that we can go get, and it starts out with connecting the community, places like the churches, the institutions for education, community centers, a stronger connection with our doctors locally, and the education. It still surprises me on a daily basis, patients that come see me that just lack the basic education and knowledge about a prostate, what it does, what's a PSA test, just starting from the beginning and kind of working from the early stages up to the end.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I think I agree with you. We have low-hanging fruit that we should be able to walk right under that tree. I grew up in the South. My grandfather had apple trees. We could just walk and grab an apple, the ones that we could grab without getting up shaking the limbs. We grab those. So that's what we want to do in Massachusetts. We want to grab those low-hanging apples. But you brought up a point that I want to emphasize a little bit, and that is the knowledge and awareness. That is a big need. And in my first book that I wrote, Battling to Kill It Within, released in 2001, I wrote in there that black men in our communities need to be the most knowledgeable about prostate cancer of any community because we're the most impacted. And so one of the reasons that we do what we do is kind of behind that philosophy. And we spend a lot of time and a lot of money on prostate cancer awareness. Even this community rally. We began this rally at the beginning of March with our social media campaign with Voices that we spent a lot of time. We reached, I think, 385,000 people, the last number I saw, during that period because we just kept promoting those awareness messages. And they make a difference because people don't know. You say you're surprised, but if you walk out and talk to people about what is a prostate, that's what Dr. Crawford always starts out with, what is a prostate? What's a prostate cancer? The number of men that have no idea what a prostate is and what it does. In fact, I'm going to tell you something that I didn't know either when I was diagnosed. I didn't know that much about the prostate. And so there is just a big need to raise awareness. That was the first item on that list of discussion. Public awareness. We got to do a whole lot more about public awareness. Thank you for that. Now I'm gonna skip on this side, Doctor, because I know you're gonna knock it out of the park. So I'm gonna come back. But you're the cleanup back. So I'm going to ask Magnolia to chime in. And as I said, we've been working with Magnolia and the Dana-Farber for many, many years. And give me your thoughts, Magnolia.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to participate. We have been partners for over 20 years. Tom, I think we need to intercept the primary care lane. I think it's time that we went back and used the book we worked on before, which was having community accessible screening opportunities as many places as possible and intercepting the need for the primary care clinician, the primary care space to be the beginning of looking at breast cancer screening. And I say that respectfully, but based on information and knowledge that many of our primary care providers are overwhelmed with many other things, and they don't have the time to talk to us about cancer screenings, period. And then we get into prostate cancer screenings, and I think that they don't feel that comfortable anymore talking to us about prostate cancer screening because I think they're not feeling that they know enough to understand how to navigate us through that process. I know that many community health centers are doing God's work in trying to ensure that their patients get screened for all types of illnesses, including all types of cancers, and it's very challenging in this environment. And so for me, Tom, I think it's let's pull out the old playbook. Let's go back and have community level screenings, no access barriers, and I think that that could make a difference. I do want to say one more thing, because when we talk about our hospitals, by the time we look at the data with hospitals, it's too late. I want us to think about, by the time you walk into a Dana-Farber, Boston Medical Center, Mass General, it's late. So I really want us to think about what could we be doing more upstream, much more earlier, because I think that that is really the space that any intervention is going to make a difference for us. So I appreciate the young men that are here today. I appreciate their fathers who brought them in here, because it's never too early to know what a prostate is, how it is in your body, what it does, and I think it's going to be the foundation for us to improve those numbers, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments, Magnolia. Thank you. Yeah, we did a lot of work in the early days. We had the van that we used to go around, and we did that for a number of years. You know, when the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force came out in 2012 and said, don't screen. And they literally, if you can believe that, that's what they came out and said. They said, well, hey, early detection screening doesn't save lives, and so we're going to recommend against it. And when they recommended against it, Dana-Farber, hospitals that we were working with across the country all stopped community screening. And, you know, I know we have statements and we push very hard and say what you're going to see is you're going to see an increase in prostate cancer deaths, and this is the wrong way to go. Sure enough, there was, I think, a 10 or more years decline in the death rate for prostate cancer. And then after screening stopped at that level, there now is an increase in the death rate for prostate cancer. And in fact, if you look at the numbers that are put out by the American Cancer Society, they show that we'll have an 80% increase in prostate cancer incidence between 2019 and 2025. Well, you know, we're in that process right now. And 80%, by far the largest increase for any type of major cancer. And it's all because we stopped doing early detection screening for periods of time. In 2018, they came back with a recommendation that, with a C recommendation that, hey, it's okay to screen, but you got to do it after a lot of discussion with your doctors and make an informed decision. Now, what did not happen there, with a lot of the cancer centers and a lot of the people that are doing community screening, they did not change their practice from what they were doing after 2012 when that came down in 2018. So a lot of them have not changed their practice. So thank you, Magnolia. We have to get out there and do more. Thank you. And I'm going to have Lynn. Now, Lynn is a survivor. So in addition to being a survivor, he's at Mass Bay Community College. And he's done an awareness campaign. He's created one out at Mass Bay. Tell us about that, Lynn, and give us your thoughts.
Yes, thank you. I just want to thank you in PHEN, because without you, I probably would not have gone through my treatment. I just finished in February cypher-knife treatment, and with the help of Tony Lee telling me about it and reading up, and Tom, you came to Greater Framingham Community Church a couple of times announcing this, and I'm a deacon there. So I just had it in the back of my head. But not until early last year, my numbers started to creep up, that my primary care physician said, okay, you probably need to look into this. So he sent me over to a neurologist. The first neurologist I went to said, oh, you're 70 years old. We're going to stop even doing PSAs at 70.
Yep. Yep.
I'm saying to myself, I'm planning on being here till I'm at least 100. So I went back to my primary care and said, why you send me to this guy? He said, oh, because he's in the network. No, don't do that to me. So I got another guy closer to my age, great. And he talked to me. Next thing you know, I didn't know there were so many doctors in the world, urologists, medical oncologists, radiology oncologists. I even had to step in there and go to a cardiologist too. I said, darn. And back in the day in North Carolina, we just had one doctor. And he even got glasses from that same doctor. But anyway. So one of the things that happened is in talking with Tony Lee, I said, now why didn't I know about this stuff? Why didn't I look into it? He was explaining to me about PHEN and stuff. So the next thing I knew, I was researching it. Then I said, other people need to know this. And I'm at Mass Bay Community College. I'm the chief diversity officer there. And we have a brand new building in Framingham. I said, why we can't use our facility to do something? So we did in September, Metro West Prostate Cancer Awareness. We had Hispanic, Brazilians, and also Keep came as well. We did a presentation that had all those languages there, and the deal is early detection. I didn't know when I started planning that section that I was going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was like 2 weeks before we actually did the event. Then I said, okay, Lord. Then Brother Chuck, he was talking about the 100 and 1,000, how you want to, just tell people your testimony. I'm a deacon and I can talk and I like spreading the news and I like testifying. I said, Lord, give me something that I can help other men with. So this is my call. And why everybody in here 72 years old? I heard several people today say they're 72. Well, I'll be 73 next month. But I said, okay, for the next 25 years at least, I want to be able to tell people about prostate cancer and the thing, cypernite, 5 treatments. And based on all the things that other people went through for the last 20, 25 years, that technology just build and build and build. So I would know within the next 2 to 3 years, technology is going to even be better. So my goal is just to tell other people, early detection is the key. And as everybody else said, know your numbers. Know your numbers.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. I think what he points out is that, where you sit or where you stand is where you can make a difference. He didn't wait to bring a whole crowd together, and he decided to make that difference on his own, and thank you for doing that. All right, so I have here Jack Hopkins, who is with Golf Fights Cancer, and so I'm going to ask him to weigh in on some of these moving forward strategies.
Yes, so I'm a cancer researcher and a mathematician by training, and at one point in my life oversaw a very large-scale genetic testing company. And so I got two items for you. The first is, in that experience, we learned every time you got a genetic test, you had to give your family history. And you were asked for all the family history you had. And what we learned was that men just don't know their family history. Nothing to do with the ethnicity of those men. Just 20% of men could give their family history, and 85% of women could give their family health history. So I think I want to echo what Gloria Lee said earlier, which is we all got to stand up, and that's the first thing. Everyone in this room has to spread the word to learn and teach their family history out the gate. That's a general problem among men. I also learned in that job the huge disparity, and that's when I first came across the huge disparity of disease in prostate cancer specific to black men. So as a mathematician, I like numbers, but I have to say I hate all the numbers I saw that you showed up there. And it's time that we address those numbers. So how do we do that? I could not agree more with upstream and awareness. Golf Fights Cancer is very much a kind of a silent charity. We raise money to help charities raise money. And we fund a lot of things in cancer. You know, cancer bankrupts people. We try to help people pay their bills when they're being bankrupt. We try to do palliative care, help people at the end stage of life. And we've made a commitment, as we supported today, and we now have a great partnership with PHEN and backing PHEN and have raised the money to bring back mobile testing in Boston. So that's our mission right now. We have raised the money, and now it's time for this community to come together and deploy that again. And I just will end on, this is the second time I've been to this church in this month. The second I've been.
We'll make you a member.
I should, you know. And,
We'll get some time.
The Reverend told me I could come. So it is a wonderful community, and this is a great launching point. And what PHEN does, what a phenomenal morning this was. So inspirational. And so we got to carry this forward. We all have to take action from this, both through testing, awareness, education, but it takes a community, and I don't understand. I'm very for what we've accomplished as a society in breast cancer. We need to do the same thing in prostate cancer. It needs to be what we talk about and how we get it out.
All right. Thank you. Yes. And in fact, I was going to have you come up, Reverend Gray. So we have Reverend Gray with us from Bethel AME Church, and you know, Bethel was one of our original church partners. So Reverend Gray, give us your input.
Well, thank you. I'm probably the least knowledgeable one up here. But I'm a survivor, recent survivor over the past few years. But, you know, I'm also realizing the fact that sometimes God put a calling on your life, and sometimes the things you go through help prepare you for that calling. So you just have to go through them. And one of the things I do is I realize that I come from it from a different point of view. I agree with everything everyone said, but I really push towards information, letting people know what's going on. And I believe that you need to use whatever platform you have to share your story. And one of the things is I'm the chaplain for the Celtics. I've been the chaplain this is my 25th year. And when you're how it works in sports is when you're the chaplain, you deal with both teams. Because the NBA really is a big fraternity, right? Everybody knows everybody, you're there. And so one of the things that the Lord has me to do is to realize the fact that I need to use that platform, even with young people. One of the things, I'm in both locker rooms, I get to talk to the players about their families and this and that. And I always ask, hey, how's your family doing? You know, I always say, how's your mom and your dad? And a lot of times they'll tell me, oh yeah, Mom, my dad's going through prostate cancer, or I have my uncle who's going through prostate cancer. Everybody knows somebody that's going through. And what that does is, what I use that is, that opens the door to conversation, opens the door to plant a seed. And so I'm like a farmer. I'm planting seeds. I'm planting seeds. I may not see them come to fruition. I may not be able to even water them, but I plant the seed, talking about health and talking about, because one day, listen, I get pictures all the time with some of these guys, and I'm trying to figure out who the old guy is in the picture. Because I used to be the young guy, you know. So, and I try to tell them that one day you're not always going to be bouncing a basketball, and you're going to have, just because you have fame and you have finances, that doesn't exempt you from life. And so you have to really take care of some things as you go. And so I try to really talk. Now, it's not a popular subject, right? People don't want to sit around and talk about prostate cancer. It's just like at Bethel, we have a thing called Planning Ahead, where we really talk to families about going ahead, planning, about your, listen, we're all going to die. What's it going to look like? How do you want it to look like, and this and that. It was very unpopular when we started it. Now people just talk about it as a normal course because we kept it before people. So I think that that's what we need to do with prostate cancer. We don't beat people over the head with it because people don't receive that. But sometimes God will show you an exit and show you an entrance where you can bring up something and talk a little bit about. And the other thing is we have to develop a sort of a gentle boldness. Like if you know people, you know, you have to be bold. And when you hear someone say that, if you say, hey, how you doing? And someone says, well, you know, I'm doing okay. We don't just leave that alone. We say, so what's going on? And people will be surprised how much people will tell you if you let that door, if you open the door a little bit. So I try to do that around prostate cancer with men. And then the last thing is, the important thing is to follow up with people. Once you open that door, you've planted the seed, you open that door, when you see him again, say, hey, how's that going? You know, how's your father doing? You know, with that, you know. And so you begin to talk to people about, you know, listen, so they know that they're not alone and it wasn't a one and done. Because we need to be about, if we have all had this experience, we need to be about sharing that. I know people that don't want anybody to know that they had prostate cancer. And I say, well, you know, this is an opportunity for you to share. Yeah, I know, but I'm not ready. Well, if you're not ready now, after you've gone through what you probably never will be ready. So I just simply, what I want to do is, wherever your platform is, wherever you are, you have to grow where you're planted. Just plan to, how can I really share my story with the people around me in an elevator speech type of thing. Really just share, yeah, you know, yeah, I went through this. People say, really? Well, you know, it's funny. My father, I'm going through this right now. So that's my contribution to the whole prostate cancer information piece. It needs to get out there.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No question about that. No question about that. Now, Pastor,
yes,
Bodrick, my pastor. I know you're going to knock it out of the park, and I'm going to have, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
You good. That's okay.
But, give us your perspective on this.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I'm glad to be on this panel with all of these great folks who have helped us to think through this. And Tom, I thank you for your leadership again. I think the first problem is that we haven't sounded the alarm.
Yeah.
We don't really understand contextually how big of a problem this is and how great the disparity this is. We were talking about the age 72, my brother. That's how most of my peers look at this. This is an old man's disease. And so I got a new charge, Tom. Next year when we do this, we're going to fill this room with young men.
All right.
I'm 37 years old, and hearing the brother talk about his story, he probably was having symptoms right around my age. I would have never thought to even consider to get a PSA test, particularly until my father-in-law went through it. And thank God for folks like yourself and Pastor Gerald who were able to consult with him during that time, that I realized it wasn't just an old man's disease. And I mean, nothing against age, because it's a blessing to get to old age. But it was a disease that affects black men disproportionately. And so the question for me is that we know the facts, Doc. We know what's happening. But what could we be doing to prevent this? What is happening amongst black men? What cultural practices are we all active in that's actually creating this problem and this disparity? And where does the conversation of prevention lie? I think a lot of it is early testing, but it's also early education. We have to make this a part of a coming of age narrative, that this is something we can comfortably talk about, that this is something that we can comfortably engage in. And one thing I thank God for 12th Baptist Church, there's no conversation that we can't have in this sacred, safe space. And that one, we have to create safe spaces to talk about it, because people will talk about stuff if you create the space for it. And then we have to be intentional to make sure that we can provide the resources, the information, and the opportunity to engage and connect with one another. I think the other place is that we have to do this more often. As bad as the problem is, is as active as we have to be to address it. And so we want to make sure that not only we're doing it in churches, but in barbershops, and in fraternities, with pro players, with no players, whoever you are, we need to be able to make sure that we're doing that and to ensure that the conversation becomes as normal as the conversation of breast cancer. And we have not done that yet. We have not been able to do that. Tom has been on the forefront of doing it all across this country, and we still have a lot of work to do. And so I do think we have to do the work of making sure that we do policy, that we do the legislative work, but the real work starts right here, in safe spaces, in communities. The best thing I've heard is that somebody been able to point to somebody in this room and say, I called this person, and they spoke with me. That testimonies actually are not just for you. They're for the folks in community with you as well. That somebody else will be blessed by your story of overcoming and how you brought yourself through and how God brought you through and the people that you needed and the resources you needed as well. And so I think we have to do that work. The other piece is I think this is a perfect example. Connect the ecosystem. There's a lot of people working on prostate cancer in pockets, but we have to connect the ecosystem. So the folks that are funding it, and we thank God for them doing that great work, but also the other organizations to make sure that we're all having a conversation to actually achieve the goal of saving folks from prostate cancer, preventing it where we can prevent it, curing it where we can cure it, manage it where we can manage it. And I think that's the biggest thing we have to do. And most importantly, we can't do this in silence. Too many men suffer in silence. And the reason we don't talk about it is because there's shame, there's fear, there's the fear of being appearing as weak, but there's no weakness in this. As a matter of fact, you're stronger to that next generation if you tell your story. We see you as heroes already. Tell your story. Let us know so that when we get to those tender ages, we don't have to cross that same fight and cross that same bridge in the same way. And so we think there's an opportunity here that we commit to doing what we can where we can, that we ensure that we tell our stories to the next generation, and that we fill this room with young men who need to hear how they got through that marriage when they were affected by this sickness, who need to hear how they dealt with this issue and be able to deal with it with their families. We need to hear that. And I know I'm glad to be here, but I got a whole bunch of frat brothers and friends who I know they could be here right now, but they're watching March Madness or doing something else. But I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna text them, I'm gonna let them know, hey, we need to be talking about this on our golf trips, on our family engagements, at the dinner table. I just learned we grill a lot. Somebody said, Pastor, you better watch out for all that grilling, that charcoal, those carcinogens in that charcoal. I'm glad to have that conversation. I just had it downstairs. We need to know so that we can precaution the next generation from going through what the previous generation is going through, and that we can commit ourselves to communal healing and continue to do the work of protecting each and every one of our families.
Thank you.
Tom,
Thank you.
Tom, if I just might add to what Reverend Bodrick said, because one of the things I saw this morning, I saw Reverend Sims here, Pastor New Hope, I saw Reverend Neville here, Pastor Metropolitan Baptist. We're here with Reverend Bodrick. And I'm wondering, Tom, if it doesn't make sense for us to put together a Boston prostate cancer church council where the four of us that were here this morning, and maybe add 2 or 3 more, come together, maybe get Brother Hammond as part of that church council, where we organize the churches to come together in Boston to have a series of these educational networks, and the church council stays in place so that all year long we're having different educational workshops at the different churches that are part of the Boston Prostate PHEN Church Council.
Hey.
We're
gonna make that happen.
Ain't that right, Reverend? He said he's willing. He said he's willing.
I'm willing, and 12th Baptist Church is always open to host.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, Keith, Dr. Crawford. How do I get back the screen back? This is this. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I was instructed to let you know that 5 minutes left for screening. So those of you who may have not gotten screened, that want to be screened, you got 5 minutes. And give me 1 other minute to just say this. I want to go back to this because we hit, I think, each one of these areas. I just want to go back over them just quickly. We talked about community awareness, and it's been touched on by a number of people. I think we know what we can do there, and I think that Reverend Culpepper just talked about the church council that we will make happen. Amen. We're going to make happen. We're going to, and Reverend Culpepper also is going to help us lead the way for the state screening policy. And we talked about early detection. We're talking about reconvening what we're doing with screening in the community. And I know that Jack talked about it, and I know that Magnolia spoke on reconvening what we were doing earlier. And so we're going to make that happen as well, so we can bring those resources back to the community. Knowledge about treatments, man survivorship, and clinical trials. Again, if we get that council where we can do 4 churches who help coordinate that, then that'd be a good thing. Reverend Bodrick has already, he and I already committed to make this an annual event. So let's give 12 Baptists a hand. Let's go there. So you just heard we're going to fill up the pews next year, so you might want to get your ticket now so you can have a seat. So we're looking forward to that. Now, we do need to leave a few minutes for questions. Anybody, do I have any questions? Yes, sir. And then we're going to do the drawing.
Thank you very much for the comments that were made. This is a city of champions, and you ask where we're going to go and how we move forward. We need a voice. Mm-hmm. We need a champion to help us move forward. We've got the Red Sox, we've got the Celtics, we've got the Patriots. Why don't we have one of those voices help us lead this cause? They're young athletes. Yep. Ties right in with what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. They're not thinking about prostate cancer, not waiting till they're 70 years old, yep. 37. Why not get them involved? They can sell Dunkin' Donuts, they can sell Allstate, they can do all these silly commercials on TV. You're right. But this is about health and life.
Thank you.
Why not let us connect with one of these stars to help us champion our cause?
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you. Appreciate that input. And we will work that. We will certainly try to make that happen.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
Just the thing basically about the clinical trial participation. Basically, it's research when you look into it that not only I heard Dr. Morgan say that it's difficult for people of color to navigate through the trial to get accepted. But then again, when I look at other research, it said that there's like a barrier for black men to be accepted into clinical trials. It's that barrier that doctors or that crowd is hard to get in, and we got to break that barrier. Because you talk about clinical trials, but why is it so difficult for black men at large to be accepted?
That's a good question, and let me say this. I'm glad that we piqued a lot of interest on clinical trials today because it's something that we've been promoting for quite some time. And we do a monthly meeting at Dana-Farber, which we have a live audience and we also have a virtual audience. And that's been one of our topics ongoing for a number of years. And so we need to work on those issues. Dr. Crawford addresses the issues about interest in the clinical trials, obstacles, et cetera. So that's something that we're working on. There's no one answer that we can give you today But I can only say that we're working that issue. Yes, sir.
Yes, when we were downstairs eating that macaroni and cheese and
The ribs?
and ribs and greens, it was so good. But anyway, I met two gentlemen.
Yeah.
This young man here and his partner back there. Find out these guys provided my doctor in Austria with the medicine that saved mine.
All right. All right, all right.
It just amazes me how God is working here. You know, it's amazing, and it's a small world. It really is.
Yep, it is a small world.
When he told me that he knew my doctor and that I got my, he got my medicine from them.
Fantastic.
It just it made my day.
Thank you. Thank you. So what, should we do the pulling before? Keep going? Well, I just heard that Congresswoman Presley would be here in about a minute. And so we have to do the raffle. And so I'm trying to figure out, do we want to do the raffle before or after? We do it after? Okay, so how many minutes do we want to give her? All right, we can do it afterwards. We don't want to be rushed to do that. We want to have some fun with that. I think those questions about clinical trials and point of connectivity is important. I think the point that Reverend Gray talked about with the Celtics, he's going to get us a person who can be our spokesperson for that. I know he's going to make that happen. I feel very good that we've touched on these issues and that we're going to really make some progress. So when we come back next year this time, we're going to look at those same points again, and we're going to talk about our accomplishments in each one of these areas. So I want to thank everybody for contributing to that. With that, does anybody else have another question? One other quick question. Yes, sir. And if she's not here in 1 minute, we're going to go ahead and pull.
Yeah, my question is, do we have any teachers here? Because when I was coming up back in the day, we had a representative help us in high schools, even junior high schools, when we were really young. But now that a lot of things have been canceled and thrown out of schools because of, I'm just not even going to mention, but there's so much, the people that were in charge now don't have jobs. And it is so hard for a representative to go into a community like Roxbury and grab some of these young boys and give them opportunities when the opportunities are not there. And how do we help that? I mean, I know this is perfect. This is the way for us to, if we could communicate and stay together, we could help the young boys coming out of high school, because that's the age.
Okay.
They are too smart today, most kids, and that's where I feel we need to start. We should have a teacher here talking from the Board of Education.
So you said we need to have a teacher embedded within this process and make sure they take the word to the younger people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in the health classes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll look at that, but I want to even say that we have I think a more urgent problem. When we look at some of these medical students that are coming out, especially primary care medical students, they don't know a thing about screening. They don't know a thing about early detection. It's not been taught to them. So I want to impact that now, because they're going to be the one out there providing service in a year or two. So Dr. Katz, I'm sure you see that at Boston Medical, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
100%. I'll go give lectures to fourth-year med students or internal medicine, primary care. They have very little knowledge. Yeah.
So we need to figure out a way to impact that. Now, maybe you have some ideas, Dr. Katz, and the same way we've already organized some of these other areas, we can organize that as well. Okay? All right. Okay, so what we're going to do now, thank you again, is that I want to give our panelists a round of applause. We certainly know some ways forward. All right. All right. So now, so don't y'all go anywhere because you might win something. You might win something. So I'm going to ask Tamika to, how we're going to do it. You want to explain it? I don't want to mess up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have somebody, you go ahead.
Okay, thanks everybody. So we are going to have someone who's a survivor pick this out, and we have all of these great prizes. We're going to start with the 2 4-packs of Celtics tickets, okay? All right. So, can you vote this with me?
Now, don't pull your name. It will be suspect.
Mr. John Samard? Is it Samard? What is it? Savary? What is it?
Look, he's not here.
Simone? It's Simmons, Mr. John Simmons. Is he still here?
Going twice.
I think he still gets them if he got them. We'll leave it. All right. So Mr. Simmons won the first one.
Well, do we want to do it that way?
I think we were.
Okay. All right. Do we have the address?
We do.
Okay.
We
So
do.
Mr. John Simmons, even though he's not here, we're going to call him once. We're not going to call him twice.
I'm going to ask.
We're probably just drawing the alternate.
Mr. Salmon, would you like to? Free and fair election here. Mr. David Bubseer. It's not Vassar, is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was, we have a David Bubseer, but this is David Bubseer. Okay. Congratulations. You're going to a Celtics game. Talk to
Well, do we have, what are we giving?
Celtics tickets.
Are they in there?
Nope.
Ticketmaster.
No, we,
Oh, Ticketmaster. Okay.
I'll make sure he gets it.
Okay. All right. Good. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm going to stop briefly because I have heard that Senator Preston give her an opportunity to come forward. Is she here? Oh, she's coming up now. Okay, so we have time for one more. Why don't I ask a wife, Miss Lee, would you like to? This is for Las Vegas.
Oh, you got
Can you read it? I'm going to let her read it.
Maurice Nobles Jr.
I'm glad somebody took Congratulations.
Oh, man. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Hello? Could I just say that what I will do, those that want Celtics tickets, if you like, you can contact me later and I can bring you in 2 hours before the game. And you can sit there and watch both teams practice and watch the activities before.
Hey, yay! Yeah, that's fantastic.
Everybody won.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, so we have 4 more prizes.
Yep.
$25 gift certificate for Amex. I'll probably win one of those. Yeah.
We have a few more
Oh,
prizes.
my name is not in there.
We have even more prizes. We have one of those wonderful lemon cakes that y'all had downstairs. That was
Okay.
good, wasn't it? And then we have a few framed collectibles here from
Oh,
the
okay.
Celtics and I believe the New England Patriots.
Oh, fantastic.
We got a couple more, so we'll
Okay,
take.
all right. So before we do that, we're going to take a break. We have an honored guest with us. Yes, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. And let me say this about Congresswoman Pressley. She has been supporting PHEN for years. She used to come to all of our PHEN golf outlets for a number of years. And she's also been to some of our church educational programs. So it's great to see you again. And I'm so happy that you had time to stop by and visit with us today. So I'd love to have you come forward and say a few words to our crowd.
Good to see you. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad I made it. My flight landed late, okay? But I had to be here. This is a relationship that goes back 30 years. When I was an aide to United States Senator John Kerry, who is a prostate cancer survivor, he had partnered with Congressman Greg Meeks of New York, who I believe is also a survivor, and they would host every year during Congressional Black Conference annual legislative conference week in DC, a brain trust about the disparate impact of prostate cancer on Black men. So that's where I was first made aware of the visionary, indefatigable leadership of Tom Farrington, and that set us on a pathway. And so I do take issue with how you introduced me. However, I'm no special guest. You know, I thought I was family. Tamika told me I was family. Okay. All right. And you know, you may be unaware of the fact that several years ago I established an initiative called Ayanna for Black Men, where with intention we create curated safe spaces under the auspices of two goals. That one, Black men deserve to grow old. Amen. And the second, that Black boy joy should be a rite of passage. And you know, in doing that work, it has been just such a blessing, and that's why I wanted to be here today, both out of my longstanding relationship with PHEN, but because Black men do deserve to grow old, and both my biological father and my stepfather are living with prostate cancer, and I credit that in many ways to the work of PHEN, because they had early detection when they were both wondering about what form of treatment. I was very informed about what their options were. You know, so importantly, you have a medical advocate, and I knew all the right questions to ask, and I knew what options were available to both my father and my stepfather because of the work of PHEN. So I thank you for saving lives, and I thank you, Pastor Bodrick, for having this historic place of worship play the role now and always as the role that it has throughout history, as a place to be informed, to be empowered, and to be in community and fellowship. I'm so grateful for your stewardship and your leadership. So thank you, everyone. Get a picture for Sophia.
All right. And I must apologize for that introduction. We'll fix it the next time.
Yeah, come on, gentlemen. Tamika, come over. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, good to see you. Okay.
All right, Mommy, are you
Oh my goodness, I didn't see. Oh, it's just beautiful as ever. Yes, please come over here. See, she greeted me like a dog.
They're going to focus on this camera first. Thank you. I'm going to take 4. All right. Okay. That's fine. 2, 3.
My turn. All right, last one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I want to again thank Congresswoman Presley for being here and kind of echo some of the things that she pointed out. That it's been a long time since we've been working together. It goes all the way back to Senator Kerry, and we worked on a piece of legislation that was passed by the U.S. Senate on prostate cancer awareness for African American men, and so that was passed. I think in I can't think of the year, but I think it was 2013, in that time frame. So I know that you worked on that along with Seti Warren, and Senator Kerry got that through the U.S. Senate. And now we have a lot of other legislative issues that we're going to talk with your office about that are coming up. We know the HEMS Act that Senator Booker has introduced in the Senate, and we're working that in the House. And we're going to be pushing a state bill that's similar to the HEMS Act right here in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is one state that does not have that legislation, and I know that Reverend Culpepper is going to lead the effort with us here, so we're going to make that happen here in Massachusetts. But we thank you again. We thank you again for all of your long support for the fight against prostate cancer. Okay, so where we are now is we got some more goodies that I didn't even know about. So we have some more drawings. Yeah, let's do some gift cards. And I want to say one thing about the Vegas. No, I don't want to give it back. I do want to point out that it's a 2-bedroom, so you might want to even raffle off one of those bedrooms.
We're going to make it come to the back.
Okay.
Do I have any volunteers? Yoshika, you want to pull one for us? Okay.
Mark Freeman.
Mr. Won an American Express gift card. Not with it. Anybody else?
Now, while they're doing that, don't forget, next year, we're back here. We don't have a date set, but I do encourage you to, make your reservation early. We're gonna fill it up. We're gonna have people all hanging off the rafters and downstairs in the basement.
Markel Crockton.
Oh.
Where's Markel? Is he here? Okay. Markel?
Is that the American Express?
Okay. We have 2 more American Express gift cards. Can I get another survivor to volunteer to pull? Okay. Hesterman? Is there a Jacob Hesterman? No? Okay. You have magic hands, sir. We're gonna pull.
Johnson. Louis Johnson.
Is Louis Johnson still here? Louis Johnson going. No? Okay. All right. Other ones. You ready for the auction? I'm just kidding. No, you're good. You're good. Huh? Okay, we'll have our president and founder draw the next one. You can have him draw. Yep.
Oh, what am I?
This is going to be for the Boston Celtics 2024 championship poster. Do we have anyone sign? Oh, it looks like the team. And it's signed by Al Horford, Chris Porzingis, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown.
Oh, Tamika, who provided this?
She did.
You did?
Provided by my lovely helper here.
Philip
Warner. Hey! Philip! Congratulations. Everyone lay hands on him before you leave. He's lucky. Okay, we have another one of these. What about Pastor Bodrick? Could you draw one for us? Okay, thank you. This is Patriots win their 6th Super Bowl, number 12, Tom Brady from the AJC, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. This is your home newspaper, so let's see. Okay. What do we got? He rigged the election. He pulled 2.
Al Beasley.
Okay, we'll save it. All right, thank you. And thank you, Al. I'm going to leave this. All right. Do you want to have Chuck pull one? Mr. Christian, this is for the delicious lemon pound cake provided by Miss Rhonda Jones, and it's homemade. And Dr. Crawford has a hookup if you don't get lucky here. And we do have her cards if you were interested.
Do we know how many people were screened? Keith?
I don't have my glasses.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Orville Mason. Orville Mason here? All right. We'll make sure Orville gets.
Well, I think for the cake, if they're not here.
All right.
I think for the cake, if they're not here, that might spoil. I think I should get the cake.
All right. Tom's going to get the cake. We'll get it to Mr. Mason. And that's it. For screening numbers, I know we had over 100 in the building. I'm not sure. She's still screening, but I've heard 68. So that's good. I mean, we just had 67 in Texas. 68 that I heard. How many? 72?
72.
So please give yourselves a round of applause.
Yes, screen 72 men today hit 12 better. All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. So that's all we have in terms of the screening. Let's talk about that cake again. We can't. If he's not here, we should probably draw another one. Yeah.
Yeah, it might spoil.
Yeah, it might spoil. We should draw another one. No, pull another.
My Deacon Lynn Moore from Greater Framingham Community Church is pulling this. Hopefully he has special hands.
While they're doing that, let me say again,
Clyde Thomas. It's
Clyde Thomas. Yeah, right. He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. All right. Hey, Aggie, have your pride. All right. Thank you. I want to, as we're closing, in fact, we're closing right on time. I want to, again, to say thank you to all of you who've come out today and been part of this. I think we've gotten great information. We've gotten our charge on what we're going to have to do moving forward. And we know we'll be back here again next year. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank our sponsors again for their support. And they're on the back of our program, and Tamika read their names off. And most of all, I want to thank our hosts, 12th Baptist Church and Reverend Bob, for the great support that we've gotten from the church. And so with that, I'm going to ask Reverend Bodrick to come forward and kind of dismiss us. All right.
Come on, let's give Tom Farrington another big round of applause. Give the entire PHEN team a big round of applause. Tamika did an amazing job being our MC today, and we're just so thankful. But most importantly, we're thankful for each and every one of you. Please go forward, spread the news. There's so much information we got, and spread the news. Tell somebody about this great work, this event. Go to the website, but most importantly, bring somebody back with you next year so we might continue to empower our communities. Let us close with a word of prayer. God, we thank you, for you are good and you're worthy to be praised. And God, we're thankful for this opportunity to address prostate cancer, and God, work to fight it and beat it. God, we are encouraged on this day with the information that we have received. God, we're thankful for each and every person that was on the panel, for every conversation we've had, for the fellowship we gained. And so we are encouraging everyone to get screened early, to do the work of talking to their doctors, to continue to talk to their families, to lean on their faith and their community so that we continue to fight this. God, you have promised us that we are not a people of fear, but we are a people of sound mind, power, and love. And so we won't let cancer win. We won't let cancer defeat us. We will continue to stand strong. We won't just survive, but we're going to thrive as a community and as a people. So now unto you, who is able to keep us from falling and present us faultless before your presence with exceeding great joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and honor, dominion and power, both now, henceforth, and forevermore. And let the people of God say together, amen, 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 amen. God bless you all.
What's happening?
Are you the Nobles family?
I am.
I'm the Key family.
Key family?
Yes.
Sherry